Hello, my name is Zachary Simpkins, and I have been researching the question, how can we combine traditional banking values with modern technology? The reason why this is important and why I've researched it is because I work at a community bank that's been around for 135 years, that we're continuing to grow. But when it comes to technology, we've been falling behind. There's a lot of new things, and people are worried that we're going to miss these values as we start to embrace further technologies. So what are the values that people are thinking about when it comes to banking? So there is our interpersonal relationships and trust. You get to talk with a banker or an office manager and work with them one-on-one to make sure your accounts are right. You ask about interest rates, you can ask about all these different questions. Especially with community banks, it's focus on that community, have stability, making sure that the money is reinvested back in to the location that we're at. There's safety and security. We have a lot of different regulations that we have to follow. We also have vaults and cameras, security measures to make sure that all the money is taken care of. And then there's also transparency. You have to be able to do reports about every type of loan, where all the stuff is coming from. We report stuff to the IRS for taxes. All of that has to be reported and is very monitored with everything that we do. But it comes to ask, like, how do people want to do their banking today? So I was able to look this up from doing my own research. This is what I found to be the most effective, is from the American Bankers Association. So this is a research study that they use that I found when I was doing my own research, is that most people are on their mobile app when it comes to banking. They like to get on there, it's convenient, you can just log in. Or they're doing online. Turns out for most of the people, as you can see, the branches is a lot smaller because people aren't on there as much. And overall, people also feel very satisfied with their online experience with banking. They can know where all their funds are. They can know all these different things from that. So as I was gathering some quantitative data, this is what we find throughout, that people are moving towards doing banking online versus in person. Then I was also able to ask other coworkers and people have come in, and most people feel more comfortable about, like, hey, yes, they'll open up an account in person, but they want to make sure they can see it online. So the shift in customer expectations: 73% of people prefer the digital channels for traditional banking. It also takes shorter. You don't have to drive to get to the location. One of the research studies that I was reading was in India, and they found that one of the hardest problems for getting people over there is actually getting to the bank. It takes a lot longer versus you can pull out your phone or a laptop to be able to see that. You can be able to check it whenever. Banking hours have been notorious for people saying, like, oh, this is the banks are closed. Banking hours are known for being very small, very limited, and usually the same times where other people are working. So this gives flexibility. And they want personal insights. They can be able to go in and personally be able to choose where everything is and manage their funds. And there's a new trend where a lot of people have multiple accounts that helps transfer between different accounts to be able to have that. So all that can be done online, and it allows a lot more flexibility. So when it comes to traditional banking communication channels, this is where we found problems. There's formal letters and branch visits and phone banking. These things have become outdated. It was really great to be able to have the face-to-face trust, and that's the part that is the best from all of these old or more traditional banking communication styles, but it's not being used as much. There's even ways where people can have faulty letters and don't trust those. In-branch visits are still great, but they take time, and they take time in people's days. And even phone calls, people are wary of so many scam calls and so many other things that they don't trust these as much. So it's becoming a lot harder. Well, there's still a lot of things like the bank that I'm working at uses. We send out letters, we still send out other things, and people are not trusting these as much. There's so many times where we call and we get voicemails because they didn't trust it. So the direction of communication is moving now. It is these mobile apps. You can see notifications. There's different authentication steps that you have to go through to even get into your app. and be able to see that there's AI chats where you can go in, ask some certain questions. If you need it more direct, you can actually talk to a representative. And there's notifications that can be pushed onto your phone. So people are getting used to these, so then they can feel in charge of what they have with banking. So to ask more questions, and this is more of a quantitative analysis, I wanted to get a more in-depth view. So I interviewed my boss. Her name is Hannah Packard. Her family's actually been the one that's been in charge of the bank for the 135 years. Her family has been the CEOs and have ownership to make it an independent bank, community bank. She's also been a loan officer for 6 years and has a lot of experience from that. These are the three things that she felt like that we need to have with our banking going forward. First, building trust with people. Even though we're going online, we still want to make sure that you are listening to people and going to where they're at and making sure that they can feel comfortable asking questions, even if it's moving online. Power following up, making sure we're sending emails, we're sending other ways to continue our communications after we could have met with people in person. We can have this technology to continue to ask people, hey, you were wondering about a loan, is there something else? Or, hey, we just got a new offer that there's a 6-month CD that has a better interest rate. Do you want to move your money over to that? But even with all these things, especially with technology, is to not force it. Don't make people feel like they have to come in and make decisions now. Make people rush, and they can also feel that we don't care about them. So letting the banking and letting the other stuff do kind of the work for you. So then I interviewed Todd Stewart. Now, I wanted to get his input because he is kind of the one at the bank that is driving technology forward. So he's working with treasury accounts, which are new accounts that work with merchant services. So the merchant services, if you are unfamiliar with what it is, it's anytime somebody like swipes a card, that is merchant stuff that the buyers or the different businesses use in order to run and process funds. So he has the ability to help with more of this, and especially work with entrepreneurs and new businesses to come up with it. And so he looks at the new technology to see, okay, how can we implement this into the bank? So the first thing that he said is learn to listen to people, ask one-on-one questions of what they want, and get to know their company to be able to see how you can best serve them. If it's taking too long and too many delays with different things, it's not going to work. So yeah, make sure you listen to what they want and then find out the right things to help them. Have an open mind about different technologies. There's a lot of people, at least in banking, that are very scared of AI because it can come in and basically make our jobs pointless. But these can be used as great tools to help people get a great baseline. But typically, people still like to go in when they're doing something bigger, such as a mortgage loan, these other types of bigger loans for setting up a new business. And then, yeah, just being direct with them about, hey, this is what I can do, these are some things I can't do, and just being open and honest about that, and continue to move things forward. So as more of a conclusion of moving things forward with merging these technologies that we need to have is with my research, I've been able to find out that we can keep to the traditional values by telling people up front about what we're doing, being honest with how things are moving forward, telling them this is a new system, this will make things easier, this will make your life easier. You can still utilize the same stuff and we'll still be here. The same level of trust you put into us before, you're still going to have moving forward. We're still going to have that. Our great customer service will still be there. You can still call in. These are giving you more tools so you can be in charge. And that's how we want to merge the traditional banking values that we have with the new technologies so we can be competitive with the rest of the institutions that are embracing this. And so that's why I've done this research so that as a bank, I know we can move forward and I can bring this stuff up to my managers and other people that are in leadership positions at my bank. Thank you for watching.